What is up, YouTube? HPJ here, and I'm coming at you guys because I'm going to be taking a look at the OCGs. That's right, the OCGs. New update to their Forbidden Limited list, which goes into effect January 1st of 2022. So, legitimately, not too far from now, the OCG will be going into effect with their new Forbidden Limited list. There's a lot of controversy with this again because Yu-Gi-Oh! But it is, ironically enough, only from the TCG side, and I have some very strong opinions about why I am very much like TCG. Mind your business, stay in your lane, because this is one of those situations where people should be staying in their lane. And can't be too salty about a Forbidden Limited list that does not affect you. Keep that in mind. A Forbidden Limited list that does not affect you. Keep that in mind. Alright, so with that said, why don't we take a look at the OCG's Forbidden Limited list. And it starts off with Forbidden, Fusion Destiny, Limited, Phantom Knights of Torn Scales, Prank Kids Meow Meow Mew, Crossout Designator. We have for the Semi-Limited, Rite of Aramacia, Aquarium Aquamancer of the Sanctuary, Ultrageist Multi-Faker, Braves, we have a Sword Soul Emergence, and Metaverse. And then for the, not the semi-limited, for the unlimited, Skullheart Bad Joker, Scapegoat, Red Eye Darkness Metal Dragon, and Soul Eating Overraptor. So those are the big changes. That is going on. So why don't we go ahead and we take a look. I think the biggest one we'll save for last because I'm sure a lot of people will like to hear my opinions about Fusion Destiny. But let's talk about the limited section first. So Phantom Knights of Torn Scales. There's some ranked up magic shit going on in the OCG. And that's why this card is getting moved. Especially because if you can make some really big monsters off of some of the ranked up magic spells, trust and believe, you're going to be seeing access to any cards that can have access to cards to pick up cards. Or basically take advantage of the really broken ones and then just make sure that your opponent cannot affect them. Which I kind of can see why Crossout Designator had to be hit. Because if you look at everything that's going on right now with Crossout Designator, it is one of the, if not one of the currently best counters to cards that are affecting other cards in the game. Like, you can cross out Designator or cross out Designator that's trying to cross out a Max C by just simply sending one of the other two copies of this card that you were playing at 3 from your deck into the graveyard. I mean, to the banish, so that you can negate the crossout designator, trying to negate the Max C. And I remember they even did a ruling on that too. We're like, can you cross out designator or cross out designator? If it's cross out designating a maxi, that's a mouthful, I just said too. And yeah, you can, because why? As long as you have a copy of a card that is being activated, you can activate cross out designator to negate that card's effect, which they were doing in very big portions of both main and side. So, yeah, definitely something that had to desperately be hit as soon as possible. Then let's move on from there. We're going to talk about Meow Meow Mew, if that's anything. This is just simply because Prank Kids, and I think it was one of Prank Kids' biggest utility cards too. I remember my friend saying he was very upset that they hit Meow Meow Mew. And I was like, well, Prank Kids went under the radar for a very long period of time as being a very um, secondhand deck that still was really, really good and still has a good portion of support to it. So the only legit reason of people being angry about it is just because of the fact that they just don't have a really good supportive target like they wanted or that they had. Because now they're starting to use all the other um, Prank Kid support cards to help get a lot of their monsters in and out the deck. And Prank Kids is actually really fun if you have the chance to ever play it. You can now because here in GCG Maximum, was it, Maximum Gold Eldorado reprinted basically every card in the damn archetype that's needed, so you basically have access to it. Then okay, we move on to the semi-limited. So the Brave token abuse in the TCG, I mean the OCG is getting hit now. They hit Rite of Amarassia, which is the field spell, and it hit Acromancer Sanctuary, which is another card that was supported by the field spell to support summoning more of these Brave tokens. And then these Brave tokens are just really, really nasty with a lot of the stuff that they can do due to the added effects that the cards were giving them while there was a Brave token on the field. So shout outs to the OCG for hitting that before it got nasty. Oh wait, too late. It was already nasty in the OCG. They just started hitting it to make sure that stuff couldn't get any worse. Ultra Multi Faker. That's just to help boost up Ultra Guys who do need a boost because they're a really good archetype. If you ever get the chance to play them, I mean, if you want to play them, that was one of their bigger searchers and bigger supports was the Multi Faker. And from what I've seen, people did probably love the archetype. The archetype was basically a good can you do this to this without having to go through this? And yes, it did. And what I mean is that there's a whole bunch of spellcasters. They have really good link monsters. They don't need any spells because there aren't any spells for them. They don't care too much for their extra deck. They don't care too much for their normal summon because they can just rely on getting a lot of their own trap cards to the field. Hero Aura. Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm. Oh, sorry. I needed some water. I need some water. I should have muted, but fuck it. It's Ultra Guys Multi Factor. The Ultra Guys fans are probably happy to see Ultra Guys Multi Faker back at 2. I have it for a while. Soul Sword Emergence, that's the slowdown Soul Sword. It's kind of like it's their Rhoda. And you know how Konami feels about Rhodas. Rhoda's still at 1. And then Metaverse. This is a big change I did not see coming. But I can understand why. Terraforming is worse than Metaverse. Only reason why I say that is because this is a trap card and you have to wait a turn for it. Terraforming is a normal spell. Remember, normal spells can benefit many of decks, getting any field spell that they choose. Not just field spells of their archetype, but any field spell that they choose. And they run in their deck. Primarily, we're tired of seeing, of course, Mystic Mind. There are counters to Mystic Mind, yes. But do you want your opponent to just quickly go into the Mystic Mine, or do you want them to stand it out and wait? So remember, this is why set rotation had to be hit, because set rotation was just a quick way for your opponent to, or the player in choice, to go get a random field spell and then play Mystic Mine on top of that, so that the Mystic Mine could not get rid of, because set rotation's effect kind of helped support keeping that card on the board. So, yeah, Metaverse. And still, I think this is just because they needed more terraforming searches, but did not want to waste terraforming being an actual, move up. And I agree with that fully. All right, unlimited. And the biggest thing I can say about this is a lot of these cards have erratas. A lot of them are unlimited to support other cards. And they're just not as broken as they used to be, is why they're hitting the limited. I can say that for Skull Crobat Joker, because Pendulum is Pendulum. And as much as people hate Pendulum, the Pendulum support and these Pendulum decks do, um, basically got to a point now where they want to show more love to Pendulum. And, Odd Eyes has a ton of support. Performer Pals have a ton of support. The Pendulum Magicians definitely have a ton of support. And they all come from, utility with Skullcrobat Joker. So, and remember, Joker's on the normal summon, and even in the Pendulum scale of being 8, he still restricts the summons into being only those of the specific archetypes, which are the Pendulum Magicians, the Performer Pals, and the Odd Eyes. So, take that as it will. Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon has the errata, so it's only once per turn per card, so there's no abuse there, and dragons can't take advantage of abusing it either. Soling Oviraptor to boost Dinosaur, which I don't know if Dinosaur took it. Oh no, Dinosaur did take a hit because I think isn't Fossil Dig at 2 in LCG or 1? So yeah, they need to take advantage of any support cards they can get at that point. And then Scapegoat, the most controversial token creator in the game. How do you sit there and say, hey, Scapegoat, how you doing? Flip Scapegoat, summon 4 tokens. It's your turn. Use these for link summons, use these for synchro summons. That's pretty much what the generation of Scapegoat has always been. Is they're really good tokens that have great typing, they have great synergy, they can be played offensively and defensively. So yeah, it is a lot that you can take from Scapegoat. Scapegoat has always been somewhere on the Forbidden Limits list, whether it's OCG or TCG. It's been at 1, it's been semi, it's been limited, it's been unlimited. It's in everywhere. It's in everywhere on the list. I think the only place it hasn't been is banned because it's still not a banned worthy enough card. And shout outs to the Scapegoat fans because there could be a potential Scapegoat could move to 2 or 3 from in TCG. I know it's still at 1. That's because how the TCG players play is very, very different from the LCG players. I will just say that now. And I think that at a point, maybe we would get multiple Scapegoat. It's just how people would start abusing Scapegoat to come home. And I think that's why a lot of people have to understand. It's how the TCG and OCG players re- react in their own sections to why these cards get affected by the list. Also, you can account for the fact that Money just wants to put more money in people's hands. You know, that can also be a thing too. Or hurt the secondary market. Whichever way they can affect. So, yeah. Alright. We have stalled long enough. We can now talk about it. Fusion Destiny. Fusion Destiny. This is a card that is in the OCG, it's in the TCG, and what it does is it helps bring out a very powerful fusion monster. Similar to how Red Eyes Fusion helps bring out Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, we look at Destiny Hero, Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer, the latest fusion monster to come out the extra deck with some really powerful negations. The TCG players are not happy about this card. Keyword here, none of us. But yet those who can afford it and those who can afford the support cards are not too upset about this. And here's my thing. And I say this because I abruptly need this to be said. TCG players need to sometimes stay in their lane, especially a lot of you meta players. You can't get upset that the OCG banned this card and then scream, they should have banned Verde Anaconda. They should have banned Verde Anaconda. Why is Verde Anaconda not bad? Because it's not that good of a card if you really put it down on paper. It's the shit it brings out. Or better yet, it's the support cards. It's the cards that brings it out because then when you're running support cards that help bring this card out, then that they also can become the problem too. I wouldn't be surprised if I'm actually shocked they didn't hit Destiny Hero Dasher. But I wouldn't be surprised if TCG did because of how Dasher is. Um because basically Fusion Destiny helps bring out Destroyer Phoenix, destroy it, force it. Um, which is basically another one of those big fusion monsters that negates a lot of things and has a way to bring itself back, which can also be a problem. So, yeah. Like, you should be happy that it didn't ban the Phoenix Enforcer, which I actually kind of want to see that happen. You know, yeah, ban the fusion monsters instead. Don't ban their Verde Anaconda. Because remember, this is kind of similar to how people were about Halky Fibrex. Why is Halky Fibrex not banned? Ban Halky Fibrex. Halky Fibrex is the problem. Stop banning all the tuners. But then when you look at the tuners that they banned, all these tuners were really broken as hell. Global, Estrudo, the Lost Fossils Fasan. Like, what was it? Sting the Cloak. Um, I think it was Phantom. Was it Mecha Phantom Beast O Lion? Which was not only a tuner but a token generator. Yeah, no. It's the cards that they bring out that are a problem at times. It's not the cards themselves. And that's why I'm like, I don't really care that this got hurt. It's just more so if there's one less thing Verde Anaconda can play around with. And also remember, uh, and when I'm thinking Red Eye Fusion is limited in the OCG, and so is Dragoon. So yeah, TCG should be very careful about some things they say, because that shit can come back and bite you in the ass. So don't, I would not be surprised if TCG listen, we don't see Verde get hit, but we see this card get hit, or maybe the support cards to it, which I think are Destiny Hero Celestial and Destiny Hero Dasher. I'm surprised no one's running malicious, considering how malicious can be very usable. But then malicious is that too, so never mind. So yeah, all right, that is pretty much my look at the OCG, my takes on the OCG Forbidden Limited list. Let me know what you guys think about this list, and do you like the changes, or what would you potentially like to see in the TCG's list if it when it gets revealed, or stuff like that. So don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel, as it helps out tremendously. Hit the notification bell so you guys can be informed of when I do upload more content. Hit me up on social media. Those links are in the description box below. Of course, hit me up on Twitch at twitch.tv/HarpiePlayerJoe, where I will be streaming on weekends, and I have a big stream announcement coming up very soon. So stay tuned to that. Thanks everybody for watching, and of course, I'll catch you guys next time. HPJ signing out. Take care.